Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, Text number 21. Arakshamaanaha striya urvibalan.
Arakshamaana striya urvibalan.
Arakshamaana striya urvibalan.
Arakshamaana striya urvibalan.
Shochasi atha purushadair ivartan.
Lotasriyo purusho devi vartan.
Shochasya atha purushadair ivartan.
Lotaso atho purusho dhira
Ivartan.
ivartan.
Vacham devim brahma kule kukarmani.
Vacham devi brahma kule kukarmani.
Vacham devim brahma kule kukarmani.
Vacham devi brahma kule kukarmani.
Abrahmanye rajakule kulagyan.
Abrahmanye rajakule kulagrahantam.
Abrahmanye rajakule kulagyan.
Abrahmane rajakule kulagrahyan.
Gryan. Arakshamanaha.
Arakshamanaha.
Unprotected.
Unprotected.
Striyaha.
Priya.
Women.
Women.
Urvi.
Urvi.
On the earth.
On the earth.
Balan.
Balan.
Children.
Children.
Shochasi.
Shotasi.
You are feeling compassion.
You are feeling compassion.
Atho.
Atho.
As such.
As such.
Purusha adai.
Purusha ade.
By men.
By men.
Like Eva.
Eva.
Like that.
Like that.
Artan.
Artan.
Those who are unhappy.
Those who are unhappy.
Vacham.
Vacham.
Vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
Devim.
Devim.
The goddess.
The goddess.
Brahmakule.
Brahmakule.
In the family of the Brahmana.
In the family of the Brahmana.
Kukarmani.
Kukarmani.
Acts against the principles of religion.
Acts against the principle of religion.
Abrahmanye.
Abrahmanye.
Persons against the Brahmanical culture.
Persons against the Brahmanical culture.
Rajakule.
Rajkule.
In the administrative family.
In the administrative family.
Kula Agryan.
Kula Agryan.
Most of all the families.
Most of all the families.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Are you feeling compunction for the unhappy women and children who are left forlorn by unscrupulous persons? Or are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by Brahmanas addicted to acts against the principles of religion? Or are you sorry to see that the Brahmanas have taken shelter of administrative families that do not respect Brahmanical culture? Please repeat. Are you feeling compunction?
Are you feeling compassion
For the unhappy women
for the unhappy women
and children
and children
who are left forlorn
who are left forlorn
by unscrupulous persons?
by unscrupulous persons?
Or are you unhappy
Are you unhappy
because the goddess of learning
because the goddess of learning
is being handled by Brahmanas
is being handled by Brahmanas
addicted to acts
addicted to act
against the principles of religion?
against the principle of religion?
Or are you sorry
Are you sorry
to see that
that
the Brahmanas have taken shelter
the Brahmanas have taken shelter
of administrative families that do not respect Brahmanical culture. Purport. In the age of Kali, the women and the children, along with Brahmanas and cows, will be grossly neglected and left unprotected. In this age, illicit connection with women will render many women and children uncared for. Circumstantially, the women will try to become independent of the protection of men, and marriage will be performed as a matter of formal agreement between men and women. In most cases, the children will not be taken care of properly. The Brahmanas are traditionally intelligent men, and thus they will be able to pick up modern education to the topmost rank. But as far as moral and religious principles are concerned, they shall be the most fallen. Education and bad character go ill together, but such things will run parallel. The administrative heads as a class will condemn the tenets of Vedic wisdom and will prefer to conduct a so-called secular state. And the so-called educated Brahmanas will be purchased by such unscrupulous administrators. Even a philosopher and writer of many books on religious principles may also accept an exalted post in a government which denies all the moral codes of the Shastra. The Brahmanas are specifically restricted from accepting such service. But in this age, they will not only accept service, but they will do so even if it is of the meanest quality. These are some of the symptoms of the Kali age which are harmful to the general welfare of human society. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Harakshamana Striya Urvibalan Sochasi Yatho Purushadair Ivartan Vacham Devim Brahmakule Kukarmani Abrahmanye Rajakule Kulagyan. Are you feeling compunction for the unhappy women and children who are left forlorn by unscrupulous persons? Or are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by Brahmanas addicted to acts against the principles of religion? Or are you sorry to see that the Brahmanas have taken shelter of administrative families that do not respect Brahmanical culture? So the bull Dharma is speaking still. And he just, actually these questions are really interesting. The answers are only yes or no. Because he is in the question, he's saying everything. He's not asking why you are unhappy. He's giving options A, B, C, D. So like an objective test, If you choose A, B, C, D, are you feeling compassion for unhappy women and children? Are you unhappy because goddess of learning is being handled by people who are not following the principles? Or are you sorry to see that Brahman has taken shelter of all the kings? Because at that time, all the Brahmanas were being taken care by the king. But now, sometime the king will keep the Brahmanas only for the sake of, being called a righteous person out of a sheer ego. That if I don't do that, then people will say, oh, this king is not so good. But yes, there were kings who were really genuinely taking care of the Brahmanas. So Dharma is asking Mother Earth all these questions. So we can see that, how high standard was being expected. And he was thinking that all this is happening. She is not happy because all these things are happening. Like all these any could be actually the answer is yes to everything. It's not that choose A, B, C, D. I was just joking. The answer to A, B, C, D. And then there is a fourth option. All of the above. So this is all of the above sort of thing. Because see, even in the beginning of Kali Yuga, we can see these symptoms described that people will be Purusha Adi, means men, all sorts of men. They will be Shochasi, should be feeling compassion for the Purusha who are Arthan. Arthan, and their vocabulary has become bad, because of Arthan. 4 types of people approach Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita it says, one of them is Arti. Arti means one who is in trouble, one who is in misery. We know that only people who are in misery, they go to Krishna. Otherwise, you can just ask Krishna to do his own business. People say, oh, I have nothing to do with that. I don't believe. There are so many things. Very nice. And these believers are actually very interesting people. We meet them every now and then. And my conclusion, my personal realization is that they are going to become devotees. No, they are not even bothered. They are atheists. No, they are not atheists. They are confused. And because of that, if you start talking to a non-believer, so-called non-believer, in his every few sentences, he'll be talking of God. He'll keep on saying God doesn't exist. I don't believe in God. God is nothing. Like that. So sometimes I tell them very cordially that Prabhu or Mataji, if you don't believe in God, why you talk about it? Leave him alone. He has so many others to take care of, because those who are depending on him. So since you don't want to, then why you are talking about it? Simply forget. But the point is that they keep talking about nothing but God. That shows that, they have some sort of rebellion right now, but a situation will come. Like, there was one play long back, a Marathi play. There, the lead role there, played by a very disciplined man. But he is not into, bhakti or anything. He'll come, every time he will fold his pants before he sits, he keep his cap and properly, shoes in a proper place, and even in his talk and everything, he's throughout like that. He'll say, oh, I'm a very moral person, like that. And at one time, some situation comes in his life, his girlfriend or lover or whoever. I don't remember that part, but I remember this part that, when something terrible happens to him, he immediately turns toward God. He's so confused, and then he says, oh God, please help me. So we can see people use God, for even for the demands, for their convenience, so to say. There's another nice thing about, how people want to turn to God, but they are so stubborn, they are so egoistic, that they don't want to. Like this one person, he declared atheist. He just says no, there is no God. So he is going on a boat. So Krishna thinks of playing with this boy person. He says, okay, let me see this person. So Krishna brings a thunderstorm and lightning, and the boat breaks down. Of course, Krishna has provided for everybody a protection, but when the boat breaks down, everybody is in the water, and so this person now, he doesn't know how to swim. So he's desperate now. So he says, "Oh God, if you are there, do something. Then I will believe in you." Krishna doesn't want that, but he still wanted to play with him. So he arranged one log of wood to go in this direction. So this person got the log and he climbed on that, and he says, "Oh, this was coincidence. This just came like that to me. There's nothing like God or something." So he says, "Just forget about it." And he sits on that. So Krishna thinks that, oh, this person is still very stubborn. Let me do something more. Krishna breaks that log, in the center. And this person is now really in trouble. But still, because of his ego, he is saying, "Oh Krishna, can't you take a joke?" I was just joking. Why you have to be serious? So that's what happens. When you act against the principles of religion, who karmani, you do all the things against, then what will happen to the population? What will happen to the people? But that's exactly what is happening right now, right in front of our eyes. We don't have to become old to hear. When we become old, that our grandchildren or great grandchildren, they hear from somebody that, oh, this was a period, bad period, that now it's a very good period. No, every one of us is seeing this happening every day in our life. Sometimes it is good, sometimes, most of the time it is bad news every day. I don't know whether I must have thrown that now, but I had reserved one page from long back when I was in college, from Indian Express. The front page of that had nothing but disaster. There were 10, 12 news, somebody murdered, some train wreck, some earthquake. Every single news was the bad news. So later on I found out that somebody else has published that page, saying that this is what is happening, and that's true. Bhagavatam says, "Padam padam yata vipadam." And how do you get out of that? Only one way. Just take the shelter of the lotus feet of Guru Maharaj and Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and our life will become successful. Okay. So we continue discussing. Thank you very much. I'd like to stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, go ahead. Pallavi, Mataji wants to ask a question.